All right, everyone. Thank you all for joining us. We're going to try to get through as many questions as possible. We do have a hard out in about 10 minutes, though. But we have Jess here now, so we'll go ahead and start with Carrie. Carrie, go ahead.
Thank you. Hi, Jess. Big week. Can you just talk a little bit, if you don't mind, about the international retirement? I know you said after the Euros you were going to think about it. How long did it take you to decide? And are you having any second thoughts?
Yeah, it took me a little while, honestly. I just wanted to give myself some time to think about it. Just because, I still feel good and I still love this game, but I think international is tough, and they work in cycles. And it was a big cycle, this World Cup one next, and I just didn't think I could commit to that. And so yeah, in the end, it was an easy decision, and I think the right one. Obviously, it's going to be bittersweet, but I've had a great time with my country, and it's just something that I can look back on and be very happy with and proud of, and just let the future of Wales kind of do its thing.
Diolch yn fawr. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thanks, Carrie. And then we'll go over to Bella.
Quick follow-up to that before my other question. Just does your sort of announcement of international retirement mean you sort of intend to play at least one more season professionally?
That is an intention and a goal of mine, that hopefully we can figure out at some point. But yeah, my hope is to continue to play one more year.
And then obviously you are now the last, you will be the last OG left on the team. Just how does that feel to be, to know that Lou is retiring? And also just in terms of Lou, there are a lot of things that make a player legendary, but for you, what do you think makes Lou a legend specifically?
Yeah, I think I'm not ready for Lou to leave, but it's not up to me. So I think Lou is someone that, truly lives the values that she holds dearest to her every day. And I think that is not easy. It's kind of easy to say this is what I think, this is what I believe. But then to actually live that in every kind of moment and every decision that you make is a very difficult thing to do. But Lou does that. And that is truly the cornerstone and the backbone of this club and this organization. And she's been able to do that for 13 years. And then, on the flip side of that, she's been able to play at a consistent high level for 13 years. And that in itself is why she is who she is. She's also someone that just pours out support and love to everyone who has stepped foot into this club over the last 13 years. And I know that everyone will have something so beautiful to say about her, and that's just a teammate that she is. I mean, I could talk about Lou for hours. She just is, really is the heartbeat of this club.
Thanks, Bella. And then we'll go to Jeff.
Jess, when people kind of think of a highlight reel, especially in a reflective period of time like this, they think of the header in the rain in 15, the goal at the Euros, getting your MBE. What are a couple of the moments maybe that you're looking back on with Wales that fans wouldn't necessarily have seen that you can look back on yourself and talk about, that could be stories that you could share with any fans?
Yeah, I think honestly for Wales, it's just the growing of the entire nation slowly but surely creeping into the women's game and supporting the women's game. For me, I've been able to see that firsthand for the last 19 years. And what kind of epitomizes that was what we were able to see from our country and our fans at the Euros, that I think the whole nation, the whole world were talking about Wales as a country and what its fans were able to do for us. And that is when, even when the games were not really going our way, everyone was still talking about our fan base and our country and how they supported us. And I think to see that from where that was to where that is now is by far my biggest highlight. It's not the goals, it's not the wins, it's watching our nation grow behind us. And I got to see that how I'd always dreamed of at the Euros.
Thanks, Jeff. And then Jada.
Thanks for the time, Jess, and,
Yeah.
and congratulations on the career. I do have a Lou question
Yeah.
though. How have you seen her maybe be able to pull back as far as her having to fight so much behind the scenes for the team? You guys have kind of talked about her being the glue.
Yeah.
With things solidifying, have you seen her be able to kind of pull back and enjoy the club as it is right now, or the way she's helped to leave it?
Well, I think even if she was able to, she couldn't, That's the beauty of Lou. She'll always be there in the background, just asking the right questions, pushing everybody forward. Even if she's not the one asking the questions, she's certainly the one kind of holding the microphone and encouraging those to learn and develop into asking the questions and kind of making sure that we keep moving in the right direction. And that is the beauty of her, and I'm sure that the ghost of Lou will still be doing that for many, many years. And that's her legacy, I think.
And how is this different than when Leg left, or like what are some of the emotions that you're kind of going through right now with this?
Oh yeah, this is like one of the hardest breakups of my life. I can't imagine being here without Lulu. That's going to be tough for me for sure. But like I said, she's given so much, and she's literally like in my body and soul. And so I know that even if she's not here in the same capacity, she absolutely will be like in my brain whispering, Jess, you need to ask this and make sure this is happening. And that is, I can't wait for that, and I'm sure that I'll be calling her every day and just saying, this happened today, what do you think? Because that's, she's always going to be that person for me, always.
Thanks for the time, Laura. Laura, one of the questions I forgot to ask the other day, when you're going into this postseason in a similar situation with Megan retiring, do you have any not really concerns, but how do you kind of approach the way that, or maybe prevent a little bit of the way that everybody wanted to win for Megan and send Megan off on with the championship basically? Do you think that there will be that similar kind of feel or coaching lesson that you might want to apply this season with Lou?
Yeah, I think everyone will feel that way for Lou, definitely. I think in some ways even more so than Pinot, if I'm honest. Obviously Pinot's legacy of her career was a little bit about the rain, but a lot about other things that she did, and we wanted to go out and win it for her, there's no doubt. I think with Lou, even more so, this chapter of her life and her career has been phenomenal for her. So yeah, I think we all want to send her out the right way. And honestly, in 23, we didn't really make that big of a deal internally about Pinot. So if I've learned anything, it's maybe I'll make a bigger deal about Lou.
Thanks, Jada. And then we'll go over to Bella.
In terms of the upcoming game, obviously Utah are in very different form than they were when you faced them earlier in the season, just really scoring a lot more goals. Just in terms of preparation and what you're looking at, how is that different from when you faced them earlier in the season?
Yeah, I think honestly, tactically, structurally, how they try to do things is very similar than it was then. I think they're just doing it better than they were then. They've got confidence. They're in great form. I think Chloe Lacasse is a massive uplift for them coming back from injury. So yeah, I think will it be a tougher game than we faced in June? Probably. But I think we need to give ourselves a bit of credit that Utah did also play some good stuff in that game. We were just a little bit more better than them in critical moments. And you guys have heard me say this 1,000 times, like goals change games, and we got the goals when we needed them. So yeah, I think there's not tons different in how they try to play. I think just how they're executing it. They're obviously in really good form. I'm sure got a lot of confidence from that. And again, similar to last week, they're not playing for anything other than pride, and that is a daunting thing to come against.
Thanks, Bella. And then we'll go over to Jeff.
Utah may be coming and playing for pride, but you're coming in playing for playoff position and a possible home match. You talked a few weeks back about the 34 points, 35 points area. Here you are. And now there's tangible rewards from results over these couple of matches and not just playing out the string. How does that affect some of the preparation that you're doing right now?
Not massively, honestly. I think we have always and will always, as long as I'm here, be very process driven. We believe in doing the things the right way every day, no matter what. So how we prepare, how we operate, things that we tried to work on don't really change too much in regards to that. So yeah, just similar things, doing the things that we've been doing well over the recent weeks, and focusing in on the things that we know we need to be good at to beat Utah.
And then part two of that is with process driven. You've gone with a fairly young side a lot this year and gotten points at times when many coaches, when they go with a youthful movement, maybe don't get that same sort of result. And then also this week, you're starting to see all these national team call-ups at different levels for players that many clubs may have just kept on the bench. What does it say about your process that you're starting to see that sort of result too?
Yeah, I think it says a lot about our environment and how we try to develop players, which is great. And yeah, look, you know, for the young players, the inexperienced players, the only way they're gonna get any better is by experiencing it. So let's expose them to more and more stuff. And tomorrow's another opportunity to expose them and see how they do.
Thanks, Jeff. And then we'll go over to Steve.
Hello. We saw yesterday the announcement Jess Fishlock is going to wrap up her Wales career in this upcoming international window. I wonder if you could reflect a little just on, you know, you've spent 13 years with her now, kind of her growth and development and her contribution to the game.
Yeah, I mean, what Jess has done for Wales and the Welsh women's football team is unprecedented, really. Her commitment, her passion, how patriotic she is. You know, being English, I know how much Wales means to Welsh people. And for someone like Jess to achieve what she's achieved with that team whilst playing the majority of her career not on that side of the pond, I think is also something that needs celebrating. It's not like she's doing all of those things for Wales and turning up by just getting on a bus and going in a car and driving 4 hours to camp to do that. She's flying 10, 11, 12-hour flights, changing 8, 9-hour time difference, and then still doing that. And I think that is a phenomenal achievement for anyone. I'm really proud of her. You know, throughout this 13 years that I've been with Jess, there's been periods where that's been really hard. You know, there's been times where going to camp, the disappointments. You know, I remember the first year I had Jess, and she'd actually got Player of the Year in the WSL in 2012 and didn't get selected for the Olympic team with Britain in that summer. And it was a travesty, absolute travesty that she didn't go. she had to recover and respond from that. She's obviously, you know, it's no secret, I think around the world, a lot of women's national team programs haven't been funded the way that they needed to be to have success. I think as a small nation, Wales sat in that bracket. And again, like very similar to the US players, has been fighting behind the scenes to try and elevate the women's team off the field as well as on it, whilst also performing at a level that was just exceptional. And, you know, watching her in the Euros this past summer was amazing. Honestly amazing. I was devastated I couldn't get to a game live, but just being here and watching them, we were all together when she scored. And I'm not gonna, I'll be honest, like I cried because I was like, I just knew how much that meant to her. I knew how much that meant to her, her family, the team, the nation. Like it couldn't have been signed off any better for Jess, if I'm honest. You know, and I think you know, I've spoken to her a lot about this decision of if she thinks this is the right time, and she feels like she's left the program in a better place than she found it, and it's time for someone else to go on and take the reins. And you know, how special is that she could do that off the back of a major tournament that changed the outlook of Welsh women's football for forever, probably.
All right, we have time for about one more before we start with Jess. So Jada, go ahead.
Thanks. Excuse me. Mine's probably really quick. I just wanted to know how you plan to utilize Lou tomorrow, as far as playing start or not.
I can't divulge that, unfortunately. Well, you'll find out tomorrow.